Nature has a way of doing things that seem completely impossible. I'm talking about events so strange, they seem to go against the laws of physics so much that your brain refuses to accept they're real. But they are. From freshwater that flows under the ocean, to strange radio pulses no one can explain, to mysterious objects just out there, existing in space, the universe is full of natural phenomena that sound straight out of a fantasy novel. I'm Mike with List 25, and today we're counting down 25 mind-bending scientific anomalies defying explanation. But before we begin, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell. It truly helps the channel. With that out of the way, let's go. 25. Teleios. I'm kicking off this list with what might be the universe's most OCD creation, a near-perfect sphere floating in the Milky Way. Meet Teleios. This supernova remnant is so round it makes a basketball look lumpy. First discovered using Australia's ASKAP telescope, Teleios stunned astronomers when they happened upon the perfect sphere shape. Most supernova remnants look like a tangled, twisted mess. But Teleios? Flawless. So much so, it looks like the universe hired a fine art sculptor to create it. Even stranger is that it can only be detected using radio telescopes. It is completely invisible using an X-ray telescope or even a regular one. Scientists think it stayed in such pristine shape because it's located far from the crowded galactic plane, so it's never crashed into anything. Teleios is basically that one friend who avoids all the drama and then looks amazing because of it. 24. ANITA's upward radio pulses. Have you ever sat back and thought about how weird Antarctica is? It's a frozen plain that hosts a variety of life, but is also considered uninhabitable. And what's weirder is that it's sending radio signals up through the Earth like some kind of planetary walkie-talkie. Yeah, I said what I said. The Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna, or ANITA, since even scientists hate typing long names, detected radio pulses shooting upward at steep angles. They apparently travel through thousands of miles of solid rock and casually defy the laws of physics. What's causing all this? Well, no one really knows. Scientists initially thought it was neutrinos, but that theory is ruled out pretty quickly. They also considered whether or not this was all brand new physics or caused by unknown particles, but neither of these hypotheses can fully account for what's going on. Nevertheless, these pulses do exist and are traveling through solid rock. They absolutely shouldn't, and we may never find out why it's happening. 23. Ancient seafloor discovered beneath Pacific Ocean. In September 2024, scientists made an ocean discovery that changed geology textbooks. A 250 million year old piece of seafloor beneath the Pacific Ocean. It was just casually chilling there, making everything we thought we knew about tectonic plates look questionable. Researchers used seismic imaging beneath the East Pacific Rise to discover this fossilized chunk of ancient seabed in the mantle transition zone. But that's not the wildest part. It should have been gobbled up by the Earth's interior during the subduction millions of years ago, but it got stuck. This suggests that not all oceanic slabs get fully consumed when they dive beneath tectonic plates, like we thought. As it turns out, some get trapped and preserved, and it's forcing researchers to reconsider how subduction even works. So yeah, Earth was hiding a 250 million year old secret in its basement this whole time. Classic. 22. Secret undersea freshwater aquifers. Freshwater scarcity is a serious global issue right now, but it may not be forever. In 2019, scientists discovered something that may just solve this issue. Massive hidden freshwater reservoirs hiding beneath the ocean floor. Yes, fresh water in the ocean. Nature sure does love being a tricky little trickster. This was discovered using electromagnetic imaging by researchers, and they found it stretches from the seabed, starting in New Jersey, and spans all the way to Maine. That is a huge body of water, and they decided it couldn't go to waste. So, in summer 2025, scientists drilled directly into it for the very first time and confirmed it was real. However, there was a catch. We don't know how to use the water down there yet. Accessing the aquifer safely and sustainably requires a massive amount of research, development, and community engagement to figure out the extraction methods. We want the water, but we don't want to damage the ecosystem or deplete any resources while doing it. We can't just tap it and hope for the best. 21. Astrobiological chemical anomalies in Venus's atmosphere. For this next fact, we're heading into space to look at Earth's evil twin, Venus. This planet should absolutely be one of the most inhospitable places in the entire solar system. It has a crushing atmospheric pressure and temperatures that reach above 800 degrees Fahrenheit. However, despite all of this, scientists believe they have detected chemical signatures that should not exist. First, the atmosphere contains gases like phosphine and hydrogen that are not thermodynamically compatible. And on top of that, there's an unidentified substance that absorbs UV light that researchers can't explain. They've also found traces of ammonia that could neutralize the planet's deadly acidic clouds. Every natural explanation we can think of, such as Venus's active volcanoes, lightning strikes, and weird chemistry, fails to account for what scientists are observing. Could it be that there is microbial life existing in Venus's cloud layers? 20. Saturn's dark beads and six-pointed star structure. You think Venus is weird? Just wait until I tell you all about Saturn. This planet already has hexagonal storms and rings made of ice, but the James Webb Space Telescope spotted something even stranger on November 29, 2024. These brand new features left scientists completely stumped. There are mysterious dark beads floating in Saturn's ionosphere that no one can explain. And that's not all. Deeper in the planet's stratosphere, the telescope found a lopsided four-arm pattern. Both phenomena sit at different atmospheric levels, which makes figuring out these mysteries even more complicated. For now, scientists believe the structures might be connected to Saturn's famous hexagonal polar storm. Oh, you haven't heard of it? Well, it's a bizarre six-sided weather pattern that's spinning at Saturn's North Pole and has been for decades. If researchers are right, Saturn's atmosphere is vertically connected in ways we've never understood before. 19. 3I Atlas Interstellar Object. Space got even weirder in July 2025 when astronomers spotted something unusual shooting through our solar system. They spotted a comet they named 3I Atlas, and what makes it wild is that it didn't come from inside our solar system. This is only the third known interstellar object that we've caught passing through our cosmic neighborhood. The comet is up to 12 miles in diameter and is barreling through the skies near the Milky Way's bar at a mind-boggling 152,000 miles an hour. It's said to have enough momentum to shoot right through our cosmic neighborhood without slowing down. On October 23, 2025, it was scheduled to make its closest approach to our sun before leaving our solar system forever. But wait, it gets wilder. Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb proposed using the James Webb Space Telescope to search for signs of non-gravitational acceleration. And by that, we mean he's looking for evidence of artificial propulsion. Aliens. He's looking to see if this thing is hosting alien technology. I mean, can you imagine what will happen if he's right? 18. Strange lights in Patagonia. For number 18, we're heading over to Chile to talk about a super creepy event that happened back in January 2025. A wildlife camera run by the University of Magallanes snapped 3 photos over 2 seconds at 12:22 a.m. that had jaws on the floor. The snaps showed intense lights in the distance that seemed to approach, hover, and then disappear. Completely just disappear. Was this near a road or the obvious light source? No, of course not. That would be too easy to explain. These cameras are set up in a secluded meadow in the middle of nowhere with a flat view of the horizon. They were there as a part of a project called Public Baseline to monitor wildlife using 65 camera traps scattered throughout continental Patagonia and Tierra del Fuego. In the time since the project began in November 2023, the cameras have snapped roughly 365,000 images and videos. Out of them, only these 3 pics showed anything out of the ordinary. There were no other lights, orbs, or glowing objects anywhere else, and no one can explain what they are. Was it a drone? Did the camera miss everything but the lights? Maybe, but that seems rather unlikely considering the location. Aliens? Well, sure, maybe. Ghost orbs? Possibly. We'll never know. unless it happens again in a way we can research. 17. Molecular activity on distant comet. In 2024, astronomers using the Atacama Large Millimeter/Submillimeter Array, ALMA, made another stunning discovery when they spotted the comet C-2014-UN-271, now known as Bernardinelli-Bernstein. Yes, that is a mouthful. Thank you for asking. And scientists know that, so they just call it BB, because no one is saying all that multiple times a day. Anyway, the massive comet is from the Oort cloud and was hanging out about 16.6 astronomical units from the sun when scientists realized it had jets of carbon monoxide gas erupting from its core. That's super weird, considering comets from the Oort cloud are basically frozen time capsules. This one was different, and its explosive insides were confusing, to say the least. Seeing this comet actively spew gas gave entirely different clues about the early days of our solar system and what it may have looked like billions of years ago. 16. Deep Earth heat. You'd think we'd have the rock we live on figured out by now, but nope. Every single day, scientists discover more and more nonsensical things about Earth. And this is one of the strangest. Deep beneath our feet, there are massive structures in the mantle that scientists can't fully explain called Large Low Shear Velocity Provinces, or LLSVPs, because geologists aren't about to trip themselves up over that when they can use an acronym instead. LLSVPs are enormous, dense blobs that are entirely different from any of the surrounding mantle rock. They create unexpected density contrasts that don't match up with what we know, and they also mess with seismic waves in very odd ways. Even stranger, though, is that they seem to trap stuck slabs of subducting oceanic crust and stop them from sinking further. Scientists' best guess is that these structures are remnants of ancient tectonic events billions of years ago. But the problem with that theory is that their existence alone changes everything we thought we knew about how planets evolve. We're literally standing on top of mystery so deep that they're rewriting geology textbooks every single year. 15. Venus cloud particles. In number 21, I talked about how weird Venus is, and it's about to get weirder. Venus has mysterious dark particles floating in its upper clouds that scientists can't seem to get a full grasp on. The mystery runs so deep that they didn't even name the particles. They just dubbed them unknown absorbers. What's super odd is that these particles absorb ultraviolet light, which affects Venus's energy budget and actually influences the planet's weather patterns. How? Why? Well, we don't really know. It's a huge deal and we can't figure it out. Nothing we can think of perfectly matches what we're observing. Making this even weirder is that scientists haven't ruled out whether these particles are of biological origin. Yeah, you heard me right. These mystery particles may somehow be alive. Can we prove it? No. Can we disprove it? Nope. For now, Venus gets to keep this secret while we sit here on Earth completely baffled by the whole thing. 14. Missing baryon problem. The universe seems to have an accounting problem, especially if you look into the calculations from the Big Bang. For all intents and purposes, we should have way more ordinary matter like stars, planets, and gas. But it seems a significant chunk of the universe is just missing. This is called the missing baryon problem, and it's been driving cosmologists crazy for years. The cosmic background and Big Bang nucleosynthesis tell us how much baryonic matter should exist, but the numbers of visible stars, galaxies, and gas clouds do not add up. Not even close. Where did the missing pieces go? Well, it turns out most of the missing matter isn't actually missing. It's just extremely hard to detect. It's been heated and ionized into a diffuse state called warm, hot intergalactic medium that floats between galaxies. It's not hiding, but it's really annoying to find without having to use X-rays and radio burst studies to track it down. 13. Vanishing and appearing sources. Have you ever flipped through old photos from 100 years ago and noticed something in the sky that's just gone? Or noticed something that wasn't there before but suddenly is? That's what the VASCO project is investigating, and it is a wild ride. VASCO stands for Vanishing and Appearing Sources During a Century of Observations. This project is comparing old photographic plates from historic sky surveys with modern digital ones and seeing what isn't quite matching up. When stars or other objects disappear, or appear, they investigate. Sometimes these are explainable events, like a star temporarily brightening before fading. But other times, scientists have no idea what they're seeing. The project is essentially searching for unique astrophysical phenomena and, yes, the potential for astroengineering, aka alien structures or technology. Astronomers are playing cosmic detectives using centuries-old images and new observations to track our ever-changing universe. 12. Unclear origin of Mars's red color. Everyone knows Mars is red. Being the red planet is Mars's whole shtick. But did you know that for years, scientists assumed it was red because of iron oxide from the oxidation of the iron-rich rocks? Sure you did. But do you know why that's wrong? Let me explain. Research from February 2025 threw a wrench in that explanation. As it turns out, the primary cause of Mars's red color is probably from a hydrated mineral called ferrihydrite. That is a huge discovery because ferrihydrite forms in the presence of water. Lots and lots of water. This suggests that Mars might have a much more water-rich past than we previously believed. We've long assumed that Mars lost all its water during its early history. However, if ferrihydrite is responsible for the planet's coloring, this just got much more complicated. We clearly don't know as much as we thought we did. 11. Deep Sea Bioluminescent Flashback Event. In June 2025, filmmaker Jacob Harrell and the Ocean X team were 375 meters deep in the Indian Ocean when they discovered an extremely rare phenomenon called a flashback. What is this? Let me tell you all about it. Normally, researchers turn off their lights to catch sightings of bioluminescence in the deep ocean. However, Harrell's team did the opposite. They blasted the area with strong artificial lights, and it triggered a strange, subdued light response from the organisms. This behavior absolutely does not match anything scientists know about bioluminescent creatures. So, what caused it? Nobody knows. Best guesses jump between a defense mechanism or communication between organisms, but we don't really have any idea. Scientists have spent the past few months trying to figure out exactly what went on down there and how it changes the things we do know about these glowing sea monsters. 10. Atmospheric dark voids above remote islands. In May 2016, NASA satellites captured a strange occurrence. They spotted dark spiral voids in the clouds above Heard Island near Antarctica. No, they aren't alien portals. They are called Van Karman vortices, and they are caused by wind hitting an obstacle. On Heard Island, this happens when strong winds slam into Mawson Peak, an active volcano. The airflow gets disrupted, and alternating spiral patterns are created in the opposite direction. The dark voids are clear spots where the vortex centers push thick clouds aside and form a chain of circles that grow to roughly 8 miles wide. What makes this even more stunning is that it bends midway through because of the region's westerly winds. Most Van Karman vortices create wispy, straight trails, but these ones are contorted and dramatic. Who knew wind could act weird enough that it had NASA scientists scratching their heads for a hot minute? 9. Taos Hum. We're heading to Taos, New Mexico for number 9. The folks of this town have been dealing with a maddening mystery since 1990, a persistent, low-frequency hum that only some people can hear. And when I say persistent, I mean that it truly never stops. Around 2% of residents can hear this sound, which is described as anything from an idling diesel engine to a faint droning buzz. And it's worse at night. It's more noticeable indoors, and covering your ears doesn't make it stop or make it any better. Because of this, people constantly report headaches, nausea, and fatigue from putting up with it. In 1993, the residents were fed up and headed to Congress to beg for help. This led to a major study by Los Alamos National Laboratory, Sandia National Laboratories, and the University of New Mexico. Equipment was brought in to check out what was going on. They used sophisticated acoustic, seismic, and electromagnetic monitoring, but it got them nowhere. They didn't find any source or any explanation. Theories range from industrial equipment and inner ear phenomena, but nothing actually fully explains why only certain people hear the sound, or what the sound even is. It remains one of science's strangest unsolved mysteries. 8. European Eel Lifecycle. European eels aren't just terrifying-looking creatures. They're mysterious enough to keep scientists up at night, and not just because of their looks. These guys have been pulling off nature's greatest disappearing act for millions of years, and researchers have only just begun cracking the case. These slippery little beasts spend nearly their whole lives in European rivers and coastal waters, except when it's time to reproduce. When they get that call, they vanish into the Atlantic Ocean and head to the Sargasso Sea. Scientists use satellite tracking to confirm that the eels make it safely over thousands of miles of migration. That was great to see. What they didn't see, however, was the eels spawning there. Not once. Not ever. We've never actually witnessed the early larval stages in the wild either. And that's not even the wildest part. The larvae that we never witnessed somehow navigate back across the Atlantic until they reach the European coast like it's second nature. Scientists have no idea how this instinctively keeps happening the way it does. It's seamless when it shouldn't be, especially for baby eels. How do they know where to go? Why does it travel so far? Why don't we ever see the spawning happen? There are so many unanswered questions that hopefully will be answered in our lifetime. 7. The 2023-2024 heat surge. Climate scientists have successfully predicted global temperatures for decades. NASA's own Gavin Schmidt runs the Goddard Institute for Space Studies and has been the main man on this side of science since 2016. But then, 2023 happened, and it all completely fell apart. So, what happened? In June 2023, Earth's temperature shattered records by margins no one had ever seen before. The heat kept breaking records for 15 consecutive months, making 2023 and 2024 the hottest years ever recorded. What's truly odd is that the extreme heat arrived before El Niño peaked, which contradicts everything scientists understand about how the climate operates. The planet warmed an extra 0.2 degrees Celsius, and the current models don't and can't account for the change. Theories of cloud patterns, shipping fuel regulations, and even weakening carbon sinks have been thrown around, but nothing fully explains what's happening or how. Researchers are still trying to figure it all out, and it's changing the way we look at weather patterns and the climate system on our humble planet. 6. Unexpected gamma-ray dipole signal. Another baffling NASA discovery came in 2024 thanks to the Fermi Gamma-Ray Space Telescope. It picked up a powerful gamma-ray dipole signal coming from outside our galaxy, and there's no way of knowing what's causing it. This particular signal is hanging out in the southern sky, nowhere near the cosmic microwave background dipole where researchers expect to find this kind of thing. And it's roughly 10 times stronger than what scientists would predict based on our solar system's motion through space. This is a massive discrepancy. What's even more puzzling is that this gamma-ray dipole is similar in both direction and magnitude to an unexplained ultra-high energy cosmic dipole that other observatories previously detected. Two separate phenomena pointing in the same direction, sharing similarities, but they don't seem to be connected at all. Curiouser and curiouser. 5. Fast radio bursts in unexpected places. At number 5, we're diving into intense blasts of radio waves that last just milliseconds, called fast radio bursts. We know what they are, but we don't fully understand what causes them, especially after astronomers discovered one in 2024 that broke all the rules scientists thought they knew. FRB 2024-0209A was found roughly 130,000 light-years away from the center of its host galaxy. This was in a region where stars aren't forming, which is weird because these bursts normally show up in areas with tons of young stars and stellar activity. Why did this one decide to hang out in a quiet area? The current belief is that this burst might come from a magnetar that formed when neutron stars or white dwarfs merged. Another hypothesis is that it's from a white dwarf going through accretion-induced collapse. Both these possibilities are rare and unusual, and neither quite matches up. It still remains a mystery. 4. New island emerges in Alaska. Did you know that Alaska got a brand new island? Oh yeah. In August 2025, Alaska officially gained a little landmass after decades of glacial retreat. This is all on a small mountain called Prow Knob. It was under the Alsek Glacier for all of history until finally emerging and becoming a fully formed island that is completely surrounded by water. NASA satellite images showed the transformation happening from 1984 to 2025. Over those 41 years, the Alsek Glacier retreated more than 5 kilometers, which slowly exposed the mountain beneath it. Prow Knob is now completely free from ice and surrounded by lake water on all sides. It's a tiny 2-square-mile island, but an island nonetheless. Will this be the last time we witness such a world-altering event? Most likely not. With rising temperatures, this may just be the start of a changing world that will expose more and more of what's under the water as time goes on. 3. Hidden ancient asteroid impact in Australia. Alaska isn't the only place hiding secrets beneath the surface. Australia has been hiding one for over 1 billion years. Scientists recently uncovered evidence of an ancient asteroid impact that was buried under layers of rock and sediment this entire time. The crater is about the same size as Mexico's Chicxulub crater, which is thought to have wiped out the dinosaurs. But unlike that one, this crater was completely buried over time. Tectonic plates shifted, sediment piled up, and erosion covered it until it disappeared from view entirely. We only found it using geological surveys that discovered circular patterns in the Earth's crust. The asteroid that created this crater was several miles wide, and when it hit, it released enough energy to reshape the entire continent. Scientists believe the impact also triggered volcanic eruptions, destroyed ecosystems, and could have affected how the ancient supercontinents were formed. 2. Levantine Iron Age Anomaly. Between roughly 1050 and 700 BC, something strange happened to our planet's magnetic field in the Levant region that still has scientists talking about it today. And, really weird. Researchers discovered what they're calling the Levantine Iron Age Anomaly, or LIAA. This baffling event happened when the Earth's magnetic field suddenly spiked to nearly double its strength in that specific area. And it wasn't just stronger. It also changed directions and intensity in a rapid way that doesn't make any sense. How do we even know about this now? Ancient pottery and bricks tell the story. When clay gets baked, it locks in a record of the magnetic field during that moment, like a tiny time capsule. By studying ancient pottery through a system called archaeomagnetism, we've learned about this wacky occurrence that has scientists scratching their heads. No one knows why it happened or the impact of the Levantine Iron Age anomaly. We just know that it did occur, and humanity came out the other side unscathed. 1. Comb jellies fuse when injured. Now for our final mind-bending fact that'll make you go, Did you know that scientists at the University of Exeter accidentally discovered that comb jellies can do something truly wild when they get hurt? No, they don't regenerate. This is so much cooler. They fuse to become a single organism. Researchers were studying a species called Nemiopsis leidiae when they noticed that injured comb jellies weren't just healing, they were becoming one with other injured jellies nearby. Once fused, they shared literally everything. They fuse their nervous systems, their digestive tracts, and even share all their food. They become fully integrated, and once they do, they don't break apart, ever. This is a permanent solution. This definitely wasn't something scientists were looking for, but this accidental discovery took deep-sea research to a whole new level. And that's it for our 25 bizarre anomalies that shouldn't exist. It makes you wonder if Mother Nature is just messing with us at this point. The world is so much stranger than most people give it credit for. These phenomena show us that despite all our scientific progress, nature will always continue to surprise us, confuse us, and absolutely blow our minds. The best part? We're still making new discoveries about the universe every single day. But before you leave, make sure to hit subscribe for more weird, wacky facts, and also be sure to like this video and hit that bell so you never miss another video. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.